What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Back in here with the motor today. I got all the bearings in. I started assembling the motor. The crank, I checked it. My grandfather's got a metal lay. I chucked it up and checked the run out on all the mains. The crank's straight, so that's not the issue with it. All the clearances check out good. I've torqued everything down. It turns over, rotates great. I'll show you here in a minute, but as far as I can see, I don't know what caused the issue with the bearings. I really don't. I've checked data logs. Everything shows great oil pressure. Even on that last pass where I noticed oil pressure drop at idle, the whole pass, it had 55, 60 pounds of oil pressure the whole pass. So, not really sure what went on with it. Really don't. But everything else checks out now. So, I started putting them back together. So, I'll show you what I... Alright, everything in here is assembled. Got assembly lube on everything. You can see it laying around, all the red stuff. But I still have to put the cam back in it, time it, do all that. But I got all this put together. And I'll show you how easy this thing turns over. It turns over very easy. But I ordered a set of King. The King, since this is an aftermarket crank and rods, they take a narrow bearing. I didn't know that at first, so I ordered a set of bearings, and they were regular width. Let me see if I'm finding the old one that come out of it. I have all these bearings down here. So here's an old one that come out of it. If you lay these things side by side, you can see the difference in the two of them. Let me set up here. That right there makes a big difference. The aftermarket crank, it's got like a chamfer in here on the side. It's not straight all the way across like a stock crank is. So you have to have the narrow bearings in this motor with this crank and rods so they don't drag. What happened with them bearings was when I started torquing it down, the bearings tightened up on the chamfer and it wouldn't rotate. So doing some research, I found that out. So I ordered the correct bearings for it because I really didn't know there was a difference with the aftermarket crank. These are the King Racing XPN bearings. But as you can see, it turns over very nicely. Yeah, drop the dang wrench on the floor. But so everything's looking good. I'm gonna get the cam, get ready to put it back in, and then start assembling everything. I still gotta clean the oil pan out. I got a nice Moroso pan for it. It's got like a billet 2-piece timing cover, which is nice. I think the oil pump, I gotta take it apart and clean the oil pump out. It's just a milling pump. It's supposed to be a high volume pump. And the pickup tube that come with the Moroso pan. So I'm gonna start putting all that back together. The ATI balancer. See, you can see the damage from when it got in that car wreck in the other car. And I'm wondering if that caused my bearing damage in the motor from when that happened. I wish I would have checked them when I got the motor, but the motor turned over nicely, and I don't think there was nothing wrong with it, but I have always noticed oil pressure, like for as low mileage motor as it is, and it all being new, the oil pressure always idled at like 35 psi, and it went up to about 55 on a pass, which is low compared to the stock bottom end motors that had 150,000 miles that I've run in the past. So it might have been already done. I am going to pull the manifolds off and retort the head studs. Now it's been heat cycled a lot. Make sure the torque on the head studs are good, because I'm going to try to get ready for Streetcar Takeover in Bowling Green. It's a week away, a week from tomorrow. I'd like to get on the dyno and line it all out before then, but I don't know if all that's going to happen. Yeah, we got 3 of us rushing to get to Streetcar Takeover. Andrew's putting his motor together. Sergio's got his car together, having trans brake issues, and then I got bearing issues. So we're all trying to get ready for next week. So, and I still have another issue to find out with the car. So we noticed on the last data log on the 15 pounds of boost it was on, it only had 10 degrees of timing. It was getting 3 degrees pulled out from somewhere. We checked the coolant versus timing and the air intake versus timing tables. None of that was doing it. The only thing I can think of, I turned it off. It's got a flex fuel input set up, but that's not wired in. So I need to look back in the computer and see maybe if that's set to pull 3 degrees or something, because with no content sensor it's showing no ethanol content, so it'll probably pull timing out of it. I do have to check that because that might be my issue. That on the timing and boost it was on, it went 640s, so it ain't doing bad for not being turned up yet. So that's where I'm at on that. I'm gonna get the cam. I got my truck and get the cam out of it. I wrapped it up and stuck it in the truck seat. So I'm gonna run out and get it, and we'll work on getting the cam back in it and try to get this motor together or not where it can go back in the car. Alright, here's the camshaft. I don't know if I've told y'all much about this thing. This is a Baker Engineering cam that TJ Grimes custom ground for the setup. So far, I like the cam. It gets on boost quick. Like when I hit the two-step, I mean, I've been launching at 4,200 RPM, and once it builds about 6 pounds of boost before it even hits the two-step. As soon as it hits the two-step, it's on 15 pounds within a second. This cam works very well, so I'm ready to get on the dyno and turn it up and see what this cam actually does and see how it does at the track. I did have a BTR Stage 2 turbo cam before, so this is a new cam I wanted to run. It's custom ground for the setup, so we'll see how it does once it's turned up. But I'm gonna get this cam put back in the motor and get the timing set on it, and then I'll start assembling everything else. I got the manifold off. You can see the port job on these heads I did myself. Just a little old hand port job. And you can see how smooth they are and opened up. As you used to when on the factory, before you done it, you could see the ring around here from the exhaust where it was hitting. You can see it a little bit right there. That's how much I opened them up. Quite a bit. But these head studs, they torque to 90 foot-pounds. They're the ARP head studs, so I'm gonna torque them down and make sure the torque's still good on them, because it's got 6 passes on it, bunch of heat cycling, so I want to check the torque on the heads. Then you can see the port job on the intake runners too, where I clean them up, smooth them up, and open them up quite a bit too. These are factory $7.99 heads with some hand porting done to them, so they should flow decently. But you can see they're just old $7.99s. Alright, we're ready to put the camshaft back in it. I'm gonna move this thing up. Well, I don't have a dry start with it. Show this thing in here. It's always fun trying to get these things in here. The lifters are still in. I think I got them down, but there might still be one hanging. Let me rotate this motor over. See if there's a lifter we got at home. Yeah, it looks like here's a lifter still stuck up down here. Knock this lifter down out of the way. And there it goes. Alright, the cam's in. You can see that cam spins nicely in there, so the cam bearings are good in line. It's easy to spin, so we're good there. Alright, I got the timing mark for the crank pointed this way. Just gotta line the timing gear and the cam up with that. These things are real easy to time, so try to. This timing set has a bearing on the back side of the cam gear. So we'll set this on here and see. That should line the dots up just right if I don't drop everything on the floor.
This cat is super annoying. This cat is so annoying.
Yeah. Cat wants your attention. So let me get the chain. Get the chain up like that. Put the bearing back on the gear. I ain't got the back plate on it yet, so the cam wants to push out the back. So let me get this thing about where I need it. What's bearing again?
You're not supposed to drop that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spin this gear and get it in the right spot. Right there. So we're dot to dot. One more tooth. Get this thing lined up. We're dot to dot right there. Put my bearing back on the back side. Go on my cam. Well, this bearing's giving me a pain in the butt. That's all on. The bolts in it. We got ARP cam bolts. Everything that's on motor is ARP. Already started in here. Well, what are you doing, girl? We even got the dog visiting. Alright, girl, you can't get up in here in my lap. Go. Alright. Run these up and I'll torque them. Alright. Get the torque wrench. There's a torque wrench down it.
No clue.
Huh?
No clue. It's just a big mess.
Do what?
It's just a big mess.
Yeah. It is. Alright. Torque these down. This torque. You still dot the dot, so we're good there. There we go. We're all good on the cam now. What are you looking at?
I don't know.
It's a motor. Alright, so I got the oil pan back on it, the back cover, and the lower timing cover. I still got to put the upper timing cover on. Got the balancer back on. I torqued the heads. There was a few bolts I had to put a little torque on, but all the other ones torqued out fine. So they really hadn't loosened up. So I got to flip it over, put the top timing cover on, torque all the rocker arms, put the valve covers on it, and put the manifolds back on it. It should be ready to go back in. So she's coming together pretty good. So I'm going to get back to work and get finished so I can go in the house. Alright, the motor is reassembled. It's ready to go back in the car. Get everything put together. I always like putting the copper silicone on my gaskets on the exhaust manifolds, make sure they don't leak. So these are stock. I put a V-band on stock truck manifolds on this. But it's all ready to go. Rocker arms torqued down. I've turned it over. It spins nice and freely. So I believe we'll be set to put it back in the car. Alright, that's all I've got for tonight. Motor's done. Ready to go back in the car. We got a week till streetcar takeover. We'll see if we can get it done in time. I'm going to try to get the motor in here maybe Sunday, and possibly one evening next week. Get the car running, get it lined out and ready to go. So we'll make a run for it, see if we can make it there. But I believe the motor's all set. Everything looks good, feels good. So ready to get back in the car. So I'll catch you on the next video when we get the car back together and running. So I will see y'all next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.